Just in case I forget. Right, now, student A, learner 1, unit 1. What we did, we put this document at the head of the work, so that it becomes, I've changed its name to assessment front sheet, put the student's name in here and the unit in here, and then on this one, for some reason, the learning objectives are missing, but well, put those back in afterwards. But the assessment criteria are, so right, the assessment's not complete on this one. Sorry, I took the assessment off, yeah, on purpose. You will have a form on that looks very like this on the VLE, but it'll have my suggested evidence in here. Yeah, I think I'll pull one out and then we can put them side by side. So I'll just close that down a minute. Shut that one down. Better. You might have noticed I've gone on 5G now. Everything works like that. Yeah, now we can see the two side by side if I make that smaller. Oops. Oh, you would, wouldn't you? That's better. Now, as we progress through the work, you can put on analyse role and responsibilities in education and training. My suggestion is that use your current job description to analyse your role and what your responsibilities are. Simple as that, straightforward. It doesn't need to be long-winded. Just explain your current job, what you do, and an analysis of your role and responsibilities. That's all. Again, summarise the key aspects of legislation, regulatory requirements and codes of practice relating to your own role and responsibilities. Now here, I've changed that now actually. What it is, it looks at basically legislation that's specific to teaching. And it's things like, if you're working with obviously minors, then you've got to have a CRB check, all that sort of thing that are particular to education. So it's just a summary of those, yeah? 1.3 is an analysis of the relationships and boundaries between the teaching role and other professional roles. That's the other people that you deal with in your everyday job and the work that you do. I think you mentioned you've got a mentor, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's another person in the. So the difference between your role or the interaction between your two roles there. And again, it's just an explanation. Because you work as you do, you won't have an organogram with an explanation of analysis of who is who. You could make a little one just to say who you work with, the students you work with, and the mentor that you've got, and anybody else that you work with to get the students through the qualifications that they're working towards. And 1.4, describe any points of referral to meet the needs of learners. This is if you find there's issues that you need to get developed elsewhere, just to help out. Now, if I whiz through this, again, the format is Unit 1, Teaching and Learning, 1.1, Purpose of the Post. So what she's actually done is written all the different tasks that she does, but you know, went into it fairly deep. But again, it doesn't need all this. It needs just straightforward what you're actually doing. Yeah. And then obviously 1.2 will follow on from there. Health and safety, data protection, safeguarding, incorporating child protection procedures. She works with special needs again, so there were specific things within that she was involved in that she put in as well. But obviously, that will only you would only be involved with that if you were in that situation.
Again, do you know when I finish this one, level 1, where do I go to get this form for level 2?
Oh, back again. Right. Okay. I shall put those two down a minute. Oops. Unit 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Let's make this one a bit bigger than we can see it. So again, exactly the same. Analysis of the application of pedagogical principles in your own area of specialism.
So
analyze, teaching principles that you use.
Assignment front sheet, and it's there.
Yeah. Oh, everything's on the VLE that you need. There shouldn't be anything missing off there. I've been messing with it, and they've got moved, but you'll find them somewhere down the list. Yeah.
Okay.
And at the head of that, on the and basically what I've put in as well, 2.1, initial and diagnostic assessment to agree learners' individual learning goals, cross-reference Unit 1, 2.3 and 2.4, but make sure you've included learning styles, which is asking for on here. Yeah. If you've covered it already at Unit 1, then it's a straight cross-reference. But any of these cross-references, just have a quick read of what you've written on Unit 1, and that will then suffice for Unit 2, or may just need a few words of a link. Yeah?
Okay.
But there's several. Refer to copies of schema work from Unit 1, refer to copies of ILPs from Unit 1, cross-reference Unit 1, 3.5, noting the and others. There's identify for learners and others to provide feedback to inform inclusive practice. That's feedback to you. Yeah. So again, LO1 3.5 is in there, but on this one it's mentioned and others. I think on Unit 1 it only talks about feedback to yourself from your students. So this one can be if you've had an appraisal or if you've got any teaching observations that you've done where you've got another person that's given you feedback, then use that evidence as well. Yeah. Again, 2.5 is another cross-reference to 8.1 and 8.2. It's explaining your own practice as taking into account the theories and principles. Yeah. Establishing safe, inclusive learning environment. That one is exactly word for word Unit 1. So again, it's a straight cross-reference to learning objective 4.3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you can explain how your own practice in creating and maintaining a safe, inclusive teaching environment has taken into account the theories. So again, respond and add to your response at 3.1. There's also further reading on safe and inclusive in Unit 1 resources. That was a point that came out actually last week with Deepa. So I just put this down a minute, and we go on that one. There are crossovers on Unit 1 and Unit 2. So some of the information that you've got on here, theories that underpin teaching and learning. That's not repeated in Unit 2, but it's there for you to read from Unit 1. Legislation and codes of practice. Yeah, that's in there. It comes on to assessment later on, and there's the assessment theory there. Yeah. And, of course, there's more stuff on here. If you look at this one here, books and journals, if you click on that, that opens up into handbook for teaching, role of teachers, assessment in education, still no pedagogy. That's just the title of the book. Classroom management, education management, mentoring in an online situation, pedagogy, curriculum, teaching, Susan Wallace, teaching and learning, the journal, the electronic portfolio, in music actually, that one is. So there's a whole host of stuff you can actually jump into on here as well, should you need it, just to give you ideas. But what I have done on Unit 1 and Unit 2, teaching amplification. This is Unit 1, but I think there's one for Unit 2 as well. This is actually just like a brainstorming exercise, yeah? So you'll find 1.1 here, let's open that up. You'll find 1.1 here, and then it'll give you just a bunch of ideas. You don't have to put everything in that's here. It's just like something that'll just fire your imagination. Oh yeah, I'll follow that up. Kinesthetic principles or multisensory models, shared outcomes. You can pick up things from there if it meets with what you do, or you can relate to it. Yeah. Again, evaluate effectiveness of creative and innovative approaches in your own area of specialism. So again, creative, innovative, learner-centred, interactive, self-directed. All these are just giving you ideas, that's all. And that goes right through the unit, yeah? So again, that's just another resource, just to give you some ideas. If you're running short, think, oh, what's I write here? Or I'm not sure what I should do there. So close that one. Oops. I put some bits and pieces in on some of the detail. You know, I wish I'd left this as it was. I can't find some of these myself. They've got moved about on the chart. That's all. Yeah, legislation, codes of practice. If you move to 2, it's behaviour, classroom management, behaviour itself, developing teaching and suggested evidence. Again, that's the one I've got up. Developing teaching, learning and assessment. Now that is a short video, yeah? You can have a look at as well. Oops. That's that other one I showed you before, I think. And it's the one for Unit 2. Yeah. Because it should say Unit 2, developing, it is Unit 2. Yeah. Yeah. That follows on. And again, it's just giving you some ideas down this section here. Yeah. Just an amplification of what it's about, yeah. Did you do a SWOT analysis earlier on for yourself?
An analysis for myself?
Yeah, a SWOT analysis for yourself.
I don't think so.
Right, well, that's one of the things you could do with doing, actually. there is one on. Yeah. You can actually write in on this, you know. So you can make it out, yeah. Because when you get later on in again at the end of Unit 1, you've got at, I think it's 8 is it the reflective practice one? You can use what you put in here as evidence for 8.1, just to show that you understand what your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats are. So it's a good document to actually fill in for yourself. It's part of I always do, or I always have done, a personal development plan. And the SWOT is really the start off for my development plan on where I want to go, what I want to do next, if there's any further training I need, that goes down on that plan. But I use the SWOT as a sort of a brainstorming exercise to understand what I need to put in that. Oops. On some of the learning objectives in Unit 2, we've also got some PowerPoints specific to certain assessment criteria. Yeah. Schemes and work and lesson plan. Yeah. If you need anything on this. It's got points to bits of further reading that you can have a look at in there. Research into the teacher. Davidson Lee schemes and work and lesson planning. Those booklets will be in that first section that I showed you, where you can go to the annexures at the top and drop into there. And some of these books will be in there if you need to read them. But coming back to what I said before, this one here is probably the most useful document, because it's the work you've completed for Unit 1. Again, it gives you the pointers to where your evidence lies, and it just asks you to check. I think I put at the bottom on my summary, when I get there. This is not an exhaustive, purely advisory. Feel free to extemporize, personalize your script as you see fit, and make sure you start a new page in your portfolio and keep each learning objective headed, and then 1.1, etc. At the start of each response. I haven't put it in. I will add it now while I'm here. Yeah. So when cross-referencing from another unit, always check that what you wrote there is actually fulfilling the AC. Because as I said, I put note this or note that, because sometimes it'll look exactly or very similar, but there'll be a slight nuance that's different, that's got a slight different feel on it. Yeah. There we are. Refer to skim broken lesson plans at Unit 1, LO3, and explain where this is demonstrated if you did not already cover it there. So again, it's asking you to just read through what you've written. If it does fully meet it, fine. But always look. It'll say things. There'll be a 2. It should meet 5.3, should meet it, but you need to check your response meets these 2 specific criteria: actively promote equality and meet the identified needs of specific learners. Now, if you remember on Unit 1, when I said pick 2 learners, you're going to have learner A and learner B. Hopefully, one would have a learning need, yeah? And if you hadn't got one, make one up. make the hearing issue or sight problem or something of that nature. It just shows that you can then put in how you would adapt things, yeah, as you work through for that particular learner, or you need a special resource for that particular learner, and this is where that learner comes back in all the time. The whole of Unit 1 is a story as you work through from what happens before you start to teach, all the preparation for teaching, then actually doing the delivery, and again it goes to some assessment, and at the end it goes on to reflection of how you've done. So the whole of Unit 1 is a story about what happens before you've started, everything that's in place before you start, what you do when you start, and what you think about what you've done at the end of it. So it tells a story right the way through. And Unit 2 is purely a development of that. That's all. Yeah. These 2 units, once you've completed them, this cross-referencing issue will come up in other units that you'll do later on, because they do cross over, and the evidence that you've produced here, there's no need to repeat it all. You can just refer to it. It may sometimes, as I've said, need a little note adding just to clarify something to a particular assessment criteria. Yeah. So this one is looking design assessments that meet the individual needs of learners. So this is your assessment, your teaching process. You're now into the assessment process. So records of any assessment method you use and why for 2 learners. Demonstrate the flexibility and adaptability in using types of method to meet the needs and assessment requirements. So again, how do you or would you change your methods to accommodate learner 2, the one with a different need? Yeah. Five 3, demonstrate the use of assessment data in mentoring learners, progress, setting learners targets, planning subsequent sessions, and recording outcomes of assessment. Now, copies of your own records for 2 learners with a narrative showing where you meet these particular 5 points, yeah? 5.4, communicate assessment information to other professionals. This is how you actually pass that information on to people who need to have that information, yeah? So again, Unit 1, 6.6 is a very similar operation. Again, when it says explain how your own assessment practice has taken into account theories, models, and principles of assessment, refer to your own records in your explanation. Also, the reading resource in there on the assessment process will help with that as well. 6.1, analyse ways in which minimum core can be demonstrated. Again, looking at 7.1 and 7.2 in Unit 1, but slant to assessment. It's mainly on teaching there. Analyse ways in which minimum core is delivered. This one is assessing it. Yeah. Well, it's actually planning, delivering, and assessing. Yeah. But make sure your slant is to assessment in your analysis of this. Yeah. Again, apply, it's asking you to apply something. It means it's got to be observed. Somebody needs to have seen you do that, so you can use a reference to your teaching observation to support this. As this is a section on the observation sheet that we use for that as well. Again, cross-reference unit 8.1, check that you made an evaluation as well as a review on the on unit 1, because this one it's actually models of reflection to evaluate the effectiveness of your own practice. Yeah, I think it just asks for a review on unit 1. This is an evaluation. And 7.2, analyse ways you can improve. In other words, what's come out of that. And again, if you've got something on your SWOT that I've just mentioned, that is a reflection of how you evaluate the effectiveness of your own practice. You can actually put some evidence from that into there. And again, analyse ways to improve your own practice. So that is your reflection of what you've done. And at the reflection, you may have decided that you can improve what you do by doing something a different way. And that is really just asking you that. That's wrong. No, it's right. So that's basically unit 2 straight the way through. What I would suggest, excuse me, any work that you've got complete, I'm saying complete now, sorry, any work that's incomplete that you want me to have a look at, by all means mail it to me, and then I can have a look, go through, make some comments. What I usually do is, just bring that other one back a minute. No, I've got rid of it. Hang on, I'll go back. Show that one. Yes. Put that one back, move that one up. What I do is annotate it like this, yeah? So once I've read through, if it says good or very good or okay or fine, that means it's okay, I've accepted that and that's gone through. Okay.
Okay.
I think this is a final one, so I don't think it's going to say anything else, so I'll just check through. Yeah, this was the learning plan. So again, good example, the data can be used throughout, yeah? So basically, when you put stuff in like that, I will then put a comment on there. Yeah, you can use it just give you an idea of what you've done. Again, it's good evidential material. So again, I'll just put my review comments down the side of there and then send those back to you. Oops, wrong one. There we are. And as it comes back, now, that was another point as well, Adele, while I can think on. You've got my Chevron BX email, haven't you?
What email is that, do you mean?
Chevron BX at Yahoo.
No, I don't think so.
Right, what I'll do, I'll text it to you.
Okay.
My works mail has collapsed for some reason, and Ramon's not been able to sort it out. So what's been happening, some students have been putting work into learner work at UK Versity, whatever, and it's not been coming through to me because my work's mail's defunct. So what I've got everybody to do at the moment is send them through to my private email, and I'll respond from there, because that way I know I'll get it and we can converse quite easily. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I'll text that to you afterwards when we're finished.
Okay.
And then you've got that one, and any work that you want to send, just send it through to there. I've got I forget, everybody is on. All the students I've got on at the moment. There's your folder there. So as your stuff comes through, I'll check it through and it goes into your folder. Then I keep control of everybody. Now, the other thing about that I meant to mention is, as work comes in, I don't know what that's doing. That's, right. As work comes in, no, it's the same one I get wrong when I've opened the wrong one. That's it. When I send it back, use the same document. But if I've asked you to add something or put more detail in or something of that nature, add it to the same document in a different coloured font, yeah? So I can see the extra work you've put in. What I'll do is when I've accepted that, I'll turn it back to black, because otherwise what happens is I'll get 3 or 4 versions of Adele's Unit 1 or Unit 2, and they end up getting mixed up. So if we stick with the same document all the time, and just add to it, when you add anything to it, just add it in a different colour. As I sign it off, I'll turn it back to black, and it'll get a note on the side. And at the top, where'd my learner 1 go? Yeah. Here, my formal assessment will go in there, yeah? And it'll say achieved on here, down that side, yeah? But I'll have, as well as the annotations I put at the side of the script here, slightly more detail will be in here, yeah? All you'll need to do is, as you complete a section, let's say you're sending LO1 and 2 in, just put your page numbers on there, that's all, yeah? What this is for, it's because it's an electronic portfolio, when it's being internally verified afterwards, the internal verifier needs, let's say they want to see, they'll say, all right, I want to look at 3.1. Instead of having to go and look for it, it says, right, it's on page 14. So they go, 14? Yeah, it's there. And look at it. It's an audit trail, that's all. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Superb. Now, I think that's all for this evening. Have you got anything specific you want to ask?
I don't think so.
Well, again, I'm at the end. I'm at the end of the. If you can text me if you're stuck, or you can send me an email to the address I'll send to you, and then we can move on from there. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, thanks for attending, and I'll speak to you next week, and hopefully we'll do some work in between.
Okay then. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problem. Bye now.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.